It's a new year, it's a fresh start. It's time to finally realize those plans of yours that you always say you want to do but never actually get around to doing. Personally, I have a Pinterest board that's almost never ending with ideas of what I want to crochet and what I want to knit that I just never get around to actually doing. So in this video, I've gathered all my ideas for what I want to crochet and knit this year so that you might be inspired and figure out what you want to do for this year. To make it easy for you, I've gathered all the patterns that I'm going to mention in the description below, so you can go find them if you too want to make some of them. Before I'm going to go through what I want to crochet and knit this year, I'm going to share with you 5 benefits of planning your projects ahead of time. The first thing is that it helps you stay motivated and focused on actually finishing all of your projects, because you know ahead of time what you want to have accomplished and what you want to finish throughout the year. The next benefit is that it helps you get out of your comfort zone. Have you ever seen any pretty knits or crocheted pieces on Instagram or Pinterest that you think, I wish I was able to make this? Well, you are able to make this. You just need to set aside time to make it and to try and understand the patterns. So if you plan the projects and plan enough time for making this and stay on course with what projects you actually want to accomplish this year, then you are able to make this. This is related to the next benefit, which is improving your knitting and crocheting skills. By picking out your projects ahead of time, you can challenge yourself to do a project that you might have thought was too difficult for you, instead of going back and doing something that you already know how to do, because you don't grow from that. You don't learn any new techniques by repeating a pattern that you've already made. I personally have experienced this. The first thing I ever knit was the Lykkejumper by Spetakelstrik. And once I finished it, I was so afraid that everything would be too difficult for me. So what I did was I made the exact same sweater in a different color. But after I made the second sweater, I was still kind of stuck on that level that I didn't know how to do anything else but how to knit that exact jumper. And I don't want my wardrobe to consist of the same jumper in every color in the world. Like, I want to grow and learn new techniques and learn how to knit all those beautiful jumpers that you can find all over Instagram and Pinterest. So by challenging yourself to making a pattern that looks difficult, you can actually grow and learn something new. The fourth benefit is that you will have enough time to make handmade gifts for your friends and family. And by planning ahead of time, you will know that you have enough time to make the gifts before some deadline, a birthday or a celebration, and you will not feel rushed or overwhelmed by doing handmade gifts throughout the year. The final benefit is that you can be more realistic about what yarn you actually need to buy. Sometimes when I see some pretty yarn, I feel like, oh, I should buy this just because I might need it or I might do a project with it. This is not sustainable, and this will have you ending up with so much yarn in your stash that you don't really know what to use it for. And this is why it's so good to plan your projects ahead of time, because then you know what type of yarn you'll need and you can buy the yarn intentionally for those projects. I understand that it can be difficult to estimate just how much yarn you'll need, so you might end up with a little leftover yarn, but you can always make smaller projects with those leftover yarns. You can even plan what you want to do with your scraps throughout the year, so that you have some small projects planned that are perfect for using up scraps. Alright, so let's jump into my plans for 2024. I have here in front of me all the projects that I'm currently working on, which might be a sign that I would benefit from planning my projects ahead of time, so that I won't end up doing like 100 projects at a time. It's actually kind of embarrassing. This sweater vest that I'm doing, I started it in the spring of 2022. So this means that it's just been laying unfinished for like 2 years. So I really need to get this done this year. So these projects are definitely on my to-do list. I need to finish these before moving on and doing new projects in 2024. So let's move on to what I want to crochet and knit this next year. I really want to crochet a dress this year. This seems like such a big task that I think I've just always thought it was too difficult or too time consuming for me to ever make. But I think this is the year that I'm finally going to try and make a dress. The reality is that there's more than half a year until it's summertime in Denmark, and I will have time to finish it if I just actually start making it now. I think this pattern from Juuulmakes is so pretty, and this could very well end up being the dress that I'm going to make this year. Next item on my list is the crochet flower stitch top. I think this is just so gorgeous, and actually I was thinking maybe of making this into a dress version so you could use it as kind of a beach cover up during the summer. I actually started to try and make the pattern a few days ago because I wanted to see if it really is too difficult for me, because that's what's been putting me off doing this for so long. And it's actually not that bad. It is a bit of a difficult pattern to make, but the more you work with it, the easier it gets. So you just have to keep on going and push through the difficulties of trying to do a new pattern. The next item on my list is doing a freeform crocheted project. I've seen different free-handed crocheted tops or dresses on Pinterest and Instagram, and I love the look of them and the kind of organic shapes. I've seen that Loupystudio has made a guide of how you can learn to do your own freeform crochet, and I think that the tops and dresses that you make are so inspiring. Next up is a laptop sleeve. I'd love to make one of these because my own laptop sleeve that I'm using now is too big for my computer, which means that my computer is kind of like sliding around inside the sleeve, so I feel like it's maybe not protecting it as well as it could be. Then I would also love to make a knitted t-shirt, specifically the one from PetiteKnit called Anker Tee. I just think they're so cute for spring and summer and also autumn, so it's like a very versatile piece that you can use throughout the year. The last thing that I hope to be able to make this year is to knit a Christmas jumper. I don't really have any preferences as to what kind of pattern I'd like to make, just something Christmassy that like gives this cozy Christmas vibe. I actually really wanted to make a Christmas jumper for last year's Christmas, but I just didn't have enough time because I was doing handmade gifts for a lot of people, and in the end I just ran out of time and I was really busy with uni as well. But this year I want to plan the gift I'm making for people ahead of time and also give myself enough time to actually be able to knit a Christmas jumper this year. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it inspired you to make your own plans for what you want to crochet and knit this year. Please leave a comment below saying what your knitting or crocheting plans are for this year, and I hope to see you in my next video.